Today is August 14th, and I'm calling the Borough regular meeting to order at 7 o'clock, and Mr. Maskell will do the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided, posting on a bulletin board in the entrance hall of the Beach Haven Municipal Building, and mailing the same to the Beach Haven Times, the Asbury Park Press, and the Press of Atlantic City. Mr. Caxton.
Here.
Mr. Lynch.
Here.
Mr. Maskell.
Here.
Mr. White.
Here.
Mayor Davis.
Here. Okay, so we have the Borough Manager's report. Sherry?
Cash receipts in the current fund account for the period July 1 to July 31 were $427,837.95. Cash disbursements in the current fund account for the month of July total $1,063,827.63. The cash balance in the current fund account as of this period totaled $9,781,491.40. Cash receipts in the water utility account for the period of July 1 to July 31 were $283,225.71. Cash disbursements in the water utility account for the month of July totaled $321,251.26. And the cash balance in the water utility account as of July 31st was $2,505,720.46, submitted by our treasurer, Sharon Bullard. I'd just like to make one announcement. The tax bills were mailed out on August 7th, and the due date is extended. They're due no later than September 1st. Tonight on the agenda, you'll see a bond ordinance for the 2017 general capital improvements. The list of projects total $1,213,000. They include a New Jersey Department of Transportation road reconstruction project at Amber Street for $300,000. A pickup truck with a plow for Public Works for $35,000. Purchase of a garbage truck with plow for $250,000. Park improvements for Taylor Avenue and the new Pocket Park at $350,000. Various trench repairs throughout the borough, $40,000. Improvements to the recycling yard, including paving and fencing, $135,000. A new alco-test equipment for the police department, $20,000. An SUV with full equipment for the police department, $53,000. Refurbishment of the Hummers for the police department is $20,000. New paddle boards for the beach patrol at $10,000. The borough is required to have a down payment of $49,000, and we've also received a DOT grant in the amount of $200,000, bringing the amount to be raised for $964,000 for bonds or notes. Also tonight is a self-funded water capital ordinance in the amount of $325,000, electrical improvements to the pump station for $40,000, fire hydrant replacements throughout town, $160,000. Electrical upgrades to the chlorine and lime systems, $25,000, and various trench repairs for $100,000. And a quick beach badge sales report. Total sales through August 13th total $430,810. Sales are up $4,280 compared to this time last year, and that is also taking into consideration that we don't require badges on Wednesdays for our free Wednesdays, so that's looking good. That's all I have.
Thank you, Sherry. We now move to the minutes. There are some changes on the list with the minutes. We're only approving the minutes from June 7th.
Agenda meeting, yes.
All right, so
Can I ask a question on the manager report again?
Yeah.
On the beach badge versus 2016, it was up how much?
4,280.
any more questions on the manager's report? We're back, so we move it again to the minutes, only June 7th. We're only approving June 7 minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
Mr. Kaxis.
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes, now we move on to ordinances.
Ordinance 2017-26C, an ordinance amending Chapter 199, Section 32, Article 10, Schedule 8, annual parking, the Borough of New Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey. This is final reading.
Because it's final reading, I can open the floor to the public. If anybody would like to come up and speak to the angle parking ordinance, please state your name and address. Do I have anybody that wants to come up? In that case, I close the floor to public comments. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve 2017-26C.
Approved. Second.
Mr. Haxis?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
Ordinance 2017-23C, an ordinance of the Borough of Beach Haven to implement the borough's third round housing plan element and fair share plan consistent with the terms of a settlement agreement reached between the Borough of Beach Haven and the Fair Share Housing Center regarding compliance with the borough's third round affordable housing obligations in accordance with and regarding NJAC 5:96 and 5:97 221 NJ 1 2015, the New Jersey Fair Housing Act, and relevant regulations and policies adopted by the New Jersey Council on Affordable Housing, first reading.
This is the first reading, and just to mention that I think we're all very fortunate that we had a very good settlement from the court and the affordable housing people that it's reasonable for us, and we're hoping we will get some affordable housing, bringing some younger people into town. So do I have a motion to approve this ordinance?
Motion to approve 23C.
Second.
Mr. Castis?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
Ordinance 2017-24C, an ordinance of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, to amend Chapter 19, Land Use of the Municipal Code to establish an affordable housing overlay zoning ordinance in the Borough of Beach Haven, first reading.
Just to mention, this is a first reading, but we have been talking about this overlay district, and the affordable housing people had some recommendations that we as a town have to accept to meet their criteria, and that's one of the reasons why you've heard about this before and you're hearing about it again. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Castis?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
Ordinance 2017-28, bond ordinance authorizing various capital improvements and acquisitions in and for the Borough of Beach Haven in the County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, appropriating $1,213,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $964,000 bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof. First reading.
We discussed this at length at an agenda meeting, and we were able to cut down the cost of a lot of the things we want to do, holding off on some, and it looks good to me. Is there a motion to approve this ordinance?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Haxton.
Yes.
Mr. Lynch.
Yes.
Mr. Maskell.
Yes.
Mr. White.
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
Finally, 2017-29, capital ordinance of the Borough of Beach Haven in the County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing various water system improvements by and for the borough and appropriating therefore the sum of $325,000 from the Water Capital Improvement Fund of the borough. First reading.
Again, one of the nice things about the water authority, or it's not an authority, but basically we can use some of the revenue from this to help us with drainage problems, and which we are experiencing. Is there a motion to approve this ordinance?
Motion to approve 1729.
Second.
Mr. Caxtis.
Yes.
Mr. Lynch.
Yes.
Mr. Maskell.
Yes.
Mr. White.
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
All matters listed under item consent agenda are considered to be routine by the municipal council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by a certification of availability of funds, and any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed separately. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. Resolution 160, refunding residential development fees. 172, approving membership to the Beach Haven Volunteer Fire Company and to the New Jersey Firemen's Association. Resolution 173, resolution placing a referendum on the November ballot to establish an open space fund and assessment. 175, extending the due date for third quarter 2017 taxes. 176, acknowledging the hiring of a public works laborer. 177, endorsing the borough's amended housing element and fair share plan. 178, insertion of a special item of revenue. 179, returning piling bonds. 180, returning park bonds. 181, returning dumpster bonds. 182 is the certification of the annual audit. 183 is approving the hiring of Carrie Close as a police officer. 185, authorizing entering into a contract with an administrative agent for the administration of affordable units. 187, acknowledging the hiring of Sean McCotter as building inspector. 190, releasing street opening bonds. 191, opposing the use of seismic air guns use off New Jersey's coast. And finally, 192, acknowledging the hiring of a full-time clerk in the municipal clerk's office.
Would anybody like to remove any of these items for further discussion?
I have 193 on mine.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do too, but
You
I'm
take it
sorry.
off?
appointing the special law
No.
enforcement officer.
Yeah, that one should be on there too. Approving special law enforcement officers, class 1, 192. Thank
Class
you.
1 or
Class
2?
two.
Class 2, and that's 193, 2017
Right.
for the consent agenda. Thank you.
Anybody else have, like to remove any of these for further discussion? Anybody on council? No? Okay, in that case, do I have a motion to approve these resolutions?
Motion to approve all resolutions as read.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
I have a bill list this evening. $1,366,268.14.
Has everybody read the bills? Have any questions? We got them ahead of time, so you could have contacted Jennifer. Does anybody have any questions on the bills?
No questions here.
I do. I read them kind of late. What are creative tattoos?
That's for the police athletic league.
Oh,
The skip ones.
Just wondered. All right. Are there any, there's no other questions, so is there a move?
Motion to
Motion.
accept the bills as submitted?
Thank you.
Second.
Mr. Paxton?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now I'm moving to Florida public comment, and this is a time anybody can get up and talk. Please, I got one person standing. You want to come up and talk? Come on up. And then we'll take
Anytime,
everybody,
right?
there's time for everybody.
Any topic, right?
Just state your name and your address, and speak loudly because I'm deaf.
I try to keep to my notes as well. 1 second.
You can pull that mic to you too.
My name is Glenn Russo. I live at 1915 South Bay Avenue. I'm Unit B, so it's a person condo, east side. Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time. I would like to discuss or better understand why Beach Haven has yet, after 5 years since Sandy, put back the restriction on doing major construction during the summer months. It's a long time after Sandy. I realized we were building. I was on Coral Street and completely knocked out. You guys did great. I couldn't get it to the curb any quicker than you took it out. We're 4 years later, almost 5 years later. And while I'm on my third tear down within 50 feet of my house, 50 feet, 3 tear downs. And 2 of them went very nicely. They did it in off-season. The current one, 223 Jeffries, decided to do it during the summer. And that's allowed. I can't fault her for that. I think it's time. We really need to reverse that. I have no enjoyment of the house in July 2nd. 5 feet from the property line, we're building 5 feet from the property line. There is constant generators running at ridiculous levels. Can't open the windows. First day, there was at least this much fiberglass asbestos all over my deck, chairs, grill, everything. They didn't even bother using a screen. No screens or anything. And the town didn't notify me you guys were doing it. It was happening. And I guess that's because the ordinance has been repealed. But I had no notice of this. After 12 years, my first year of not renting, I've blown out 5 weeks of the summer because they're there 6 days a week. And we're there until I tell them to stop at 6 o'clock. Because obviously it's hard-working guys, they want to get the job done. 6 o'clock, I tell them to stop, they stop. But this is really beyond any enjoyment I can have in the property in this period of time. And it certainly doesn't seem to respect the taxpayers of the town. Why would I have to put up with this? If this ordinance was good enough before Sandy, it's good enough to put back in now. I see absolutely, unless you can tell me some other way, I see absolutely no benefit to any resident of this town. I see benefit to construction, builders, real estate. I need the residents to be protected. I hate for anybody else to have to deal with what I'm dealing with. I'm telling you, there's no outside use of my property at all. I'm just trying to get an understanding why this long later, we still haven't put that ordinance out.
I hear you, and you're not the first person that's spoken to this issue. I really don't, at the top of my brain, I do not know what the ordinance was before Sandy.
I'm not clear either.
And I promise you, I know the taxpayers really need to be, we really need to be respectful of the taxpayers. You're the most important people in the town. So we couldn't run the town without you. We need to look at that and see what we can do. I do know that we did, I think we loosened things up a little bit after Sandy because there was so much going on, but you're right, it is 5 years after Sandy. And I promise you we'll look at this.
There just needs to be more building inspectors over there. They can't tell that they're not looking at, look, when you're in the beachfront, maybe nobody hears anything, nobody cares. I'm 5 feet away, and he's 30 feet in the air. I can't even go to the outside shower, don't want to get my bike out, let alone to drop a piece of plywood on me. So it's dangerous. And the fact that nobody was there, and I work in New York City, there's screens up every day. I wouldn't have had to eat all that fiberglass. Probably heard from my neighbor because her mother is elderly, and she was there, could use the backyard. So it really, maybe on an individual basis, could work out. But you have to inspect it and you have to go back. I can tell you the guy who took it down to Silvano, they were great. They were using the truck like it was an arm. They were fantastic. Amon put the pilings in. Now there's a guy with a Honda who's putting up all the framing. I don't know who he is, or I would tell the town who he is, but he has to be told all the time to stop, and he doesn't take any precautions. Let me just ask one question. Are you allowed to use a generator when there's electric right on the pole? They have separate electric put up, yet I have a high-power generator running 8 or 10 hours a day next to my house. Again, 10 feet away. I thought the electric would get rid of that because they made them put up a pole that has electric, Allen's electric. But
I think they do put up a pole, don't they?
yeah, they put up a pole, but
It
he's
might be a compressor, it might
he's
not be a
running a
generator.
You don't think it's a generator, I think it's a compressor. That may be the case. I just know it's that. Anyway, thank you. I appreciate you looking into it. It's been pretty tough.
We will look,
Did
we'll
you
discuss
leave your
this.
address?
I live at 1915 South Bay Avenue.
What street's that near?
Jeffries,
Okay.
it's 221 was the last construction.
Okay.
223 is the one that's I applied.
Okay.
But I do think you ought to tell the people to come. I know the ordinance has been repealed, but not to get any notice that this was going on. My next door neighbor rents, they're complaining to me. I don't have anything to do with it, yet I haven't had enjoyment either.
Yeah, I think that, you're right, that's important. It is.
Okay,
It
thank
is.
you.
Thank you very much. What? We didn't really, I thought we discussed it, I remember.
We adopted an executive order
Right,
for construction on Sundays, and then that was,
and we don't have that anymore.
Right.
Right. Okay, well, we can discuss a little bit of what you were, we'll definitely discuss this. Name and address.
Gina Lappy, 2019 South Bay.
what was the first name, sir?
Gina. I just wanted to bring up one fact, and I don't know exactly.
Could you speak a
how-
little louder?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I wanted to ask about the incidents of Long Beach Township Police racing through Beach Haven to get to Holgate. Okay. On Saturday, July 15th at 12 noon, a police car followed by a motorcycle cop, followed by 2 tow trucks that went through the red lights, went down to Holgate. I don't know the incident that they were responding to, but if it's a tow truck, I figured it was a car accident. I was wondering, is there not some mutual aid or some correspondence or anything between the 2 townships? Like if Beach Haven is available to take the call until they get there so they don't have to race through in the middle of the summer?
That's a very good point. We've talked about, I'll let Mr.
It's
White
not
address that,
formal,
Councilman
but
White.
they do it, right? They do it now. It's not a formal agreement. And
But I see those police cars racing by I'm right on the corner.
I know, yeah.
I see them racing by all the time. And, you know, if it's really an emergency, I mean, of course you want the police there as soon as possible, but I'm sure there's some things that they don't need to be, especially the tow trucks.
I agree. I see them racing through the town too.
I don't know what.
And what's gonna happen is
They
someday
were
something's
following
gonna
the police car?
happen, and then they're gonna change it, and they're gonna say we should have. But, you know, hopefully it doesn't come to that, or something happens bad.
I can
Gina,
ask.
what is your corner at
Kentford and,
Kentford?
Okay.
Yeah.
Kentford, that's a wonderful street.
But we see that. I mean, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous because the township's so broken up and they're speeding through the other towns. And, I mean, we've talked about, there's all kinds of, I mean, the Beach Haven police don't get paid as much as the township police. So we've talked about could the Beach Haven police patrol part of the, you know, that end, the southern end of the island, and maybe someday we'll be able to come to some kind of agreement with the township, because it really would be a benefit not to have that.
but you see how the vacationers, they don't even, you know, the lights could be red or green and everybody keeps crossing anyway. So,
Yeah.
you know, like one of these days, one of them, you know. But that was just my thought.
I'll talk to one of the commissioners up there tomorrow.
Thanks, June. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Laura Simon. Can you hear me? Yes.
You can lift that off, but you sort of have to hold it close to your mouth.
Okay. Can you everybody hear me? Okay, Laura Simon. I live at 123 Chatsworth. We've been residents for almost 60 years here in Beach Haven. The reason I'm here is to request additional language to Chapter 151 on property maintenance. And earlier in the year, beginning of summer, we were subject to rather stringent enforcement of this new chapter because we are big believers in natural landscaping. We do a lot of landscaping using native grasses and naturalized plants to attract hummingbirds and butterflies, and there was some misunderstanding in terms of what we were doing. We worked it out. We met with the mayor, we met with your health officer, everything is fine, but it became crystal clear to me that looking at this chapter 151 on property maintenance, which pertains to garbage, weeds, trash, and debris, that you really need to have some sort of language in there that acknowledges the value of native and natural landscaping. And so I've taken the liberty, I'm not a lawyer, of just drafting some language for you to look at.
The only one in-
But you do have expertise in botany and in the environment.
Yeah,
So
my background is I'm a graduate of the Yale School of Forestry. I have a master's in environmental management, and this is certainly something right up my alley, which I do feel I have some expertise. I didn't want to bring that up. I didn't want to sound like I was trying to glorify myself, but I think it's very important that the borough acknowledge the value of naturalized and natural landscaping. There are a number of residents in Beach Haven who have this kind of property. And it's interesting to me because I looked at, okay, what's a weed? You know, we talk about no weeds or weed control. Weeds are basically plants that people don't want where they're growing. There's no real technical description, but if you go to the Rutgers page of, that talks about weeds, they have all kinds of weeds listed, including milkweed, which is critical food for the monarch butterfly. It includes a lot of flowers, or a number of flowers that are sold here in Beach Haven and that people garden with. But I think it's really important that the borough acknowledge that it's not just these manicured landscapes we're going after, but we're going to acknowledge and appreciate and respect the natural landscaping. So, you know, this language is something for you to look at. I hope you'll, tinker with it, but I think it's in the spirit of moving forward and acknowledgement of the value of natural landscaping, particularly because people are pumping a lot of chemicals on their lawns here and to control so-called weeds, and I think that's something we want to get away from and at least acknowledge those and support those of us who really are trying to have natural, chemical-free landscapes. So that's item number one. I have two items. My second item, I found, or any questions?
Well, no, I just want to say I'm totally support your, I'm a big supporter of native vegetation and promoting wildlife, and I like your suggestion.
Thank you. Thank you very much. In that spirit, the second thing I noticed with much pleasure that you have a new ordinance pertaining to the release of balloons. And I think that's wonderful. 2 years ago, I came down to the beach, I think it was on Ingleside, and I noticed there were people that were lighting these Chinese lanterns and releasing them in the sky, and I went, no, should we call the police? What do we do? This is littering. I researched it the other day, and I found it's not just a littering issue, but these sky lanterns actually have caused fires. And 800 acres in South Carolina were lit, a cell tower. I mean, if you Google, you'll see these Chinese lanterns are pretty devastating environmentally and from a health perspective and a human safety perspective. Children have been burnt, cows. It's just, there's a long list. And the U.S. fire marshals have declared full opposition to these devices. They say it's an open fire you're sending off into the sky. They go up 3,000 feet. When they land, they're still burning. So my request to you all is, could you please include language to Ordinance 2017-14C regarding the release of balloons that specifically mentions and specifies that these sky lanterns are to be banned in Beach Haven as well.
I believe we already have banned them. Our
Yeah.
fire company, about a year or so ago, they asked us to ban these because they are a fire hazard, and we did pass a resolution or an ordinance banning these. Yeah,
Okay.
ordinance.
Fantastic. So, sorry, moot point.
That's
And my
fine.
last comment, just wanted to know, I know you've discussed this thoroughly in prior years, but any hope of allowing dogs on beaches after hours, or any sort of system for those of us who are dog lovers who like to bring our dogs with our bags to clean up after them? Any hope of allowing them back on the beaches?
We've talked about this. I mean, you can have dogs on the beach from the 15th of September to May 15th. The public works people aren't keen on the idea because not everybody picks up after the dogs, and the beaches are so heavily used. And I would love to be able to see that, because I know dogs love running in the beach. It'd be fun to be able to take your dog down there at 6 in the evening. But I, at this stage in the game, I don't see this happening.
I know Councilman Maskell, you had a wonderful idea you talked to us about at Bistro. Am I imagining this? Or where the dogs would be issued vests with numbers, and if there were any complaints, they'd pay a fee. And if there were any complaints, if the dogs defecated and weren't cleaned up, they'd have their vest and their privileges removed. I thought it was a great system and something
You
I
can't lock up a human urinators,
Well, make them request too, Jim. Put big numbers on them.
I agree with Chuck's idea,
Yeah.
and I would like to see us move forward on it someday, because I think that is a way, along with a severe fine, if somebody lets their dog on the beach. And I think the idea of maybe 7:30 p.m. to 7 o'clock in the morning could work, and it would give it a try. The other thing that the master plan is now doing too, is the new master plan is coming out, is proposing a dog park like they have in Long Beach Township, which should give the dogs a better opportunity to run, and that's planned for Nelson Avenue, which would be a nice place. And I know I have 3 dogs in my house, and they love the water, and we do take them down to the Bay Beach, and they go down and swim in the Bay Beach. But I would love to see if we can get some other council members and our maintenance crew to at least give it a try.
I support that and encourage that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to come up and speak? Okay, this is it. This is your big chance. Okay, in that case, I close the floor to public comment, and we go to the final remarks by council, and I will start with Mr. Cactus.
think I will be quiet tonight.
Good man.
That's unusual.
It's unusual, no comments tonight.
Okay, everybody follow Don's.
Oh, I only have one thing to say. Following up on the regional school tax issue, I've got a call out, and we've been playing phone tag with Mr. Ralph Baer, who's commissioner, relative to that. We want to know more about it. We want to understand where they're going. I understand there'll be subsequent meetings, but I don't know anything more than that, so hopefully we'll be able to get some more as we go along.
Excellent. Chuck, Mr. Maskell, Councilman Maskell.
Three things. At least three things.
Maybe five.
I'm just trying to make Jim feel happy. Because I know he wants to go to Fantasy Island.
Don't we all?
Number one, we just spent a considerable amount of money to repaint the basketball courts at the end of Taylor Avenue. And they're beautiful. If you have not had a chance to go down to the basketball courts at the end of Taylor, please take the opportunity to do that. They really look great, and I just this year began to live back at Bay Village, and I never thought people actually used those basketball courts. They are busy all the time, so it was a good investment, and they're really beautiful. The next thing I wanted to mention was driving through the borough, township, either police, fire, first aid people. We've considered trying to come to some decision to work with Long Beach Township on that. And it's very dangerous just normally during the day when they fly through past Murphy's. 50 miles an hour, they're trying to get down there to save a life. But as you said, what the people who are visiting know is if you're walking in those white lines, everybody has to stop for you. And they saunter across like there's not a worry in the world. And the police cars and first aid people just go flying down Bay Avenue. Makes it very difficult for all of us. So it's not something that we haven't been trying to think about. In case people were not aware before of the idea about the dogs on the beach, the idea was that if people wanted to take their dogs to the beach, they would get a mesh vest for your dog that would fit your dog. You'd have to rent it from the borough, $50. I just made that number up. And the vest had a big number 6 on the side of it. And so your dog's on the beach, and if your dog defecates and somebody sees that you don't pick it up, and it's number 6 and they report you, then you don't get your $50 back.
How do you prove it?
You do it the way.
Everybody has a little phone that's in the picture.
Oh. You can't
Should
prove
the
it.
owner have a mesh?
It's unenforceable.
Well,
It's a nice idea.
I think
but
let's see, do other towns do this?
Not that I know of. Nobody has been at.
That creative.
Exactly.
That's it, Rick, so maybe.
Go for it, Chuck.
All right, anything else, Chuck?
That's true.
Nope, I think we're having a good summer.
We are,
And
yeah.
I think our first responders are doing a great job. I've been involved with 2 first responder calls. And in both instances, not only our police, but our beach rescue people who are EMT certified, trained, were there lickety-split. And we're very fortunate to have those people on our team.
All right, Mr. White.
No comment.
Well, okay, I have a couple comments. I first want to, I want Mr. England to break this in the sandpaper, but I was very pleased today. I've had a lot of really compliments about the town and how great it looks and all the things we're doing. And one of the things is we put a floating dock at the end of Pearl Street so people could get their paddle boards, which has become very popular, and their kayaks in and out of the water. It was rather pricey. I would like to say that Ken's Surf and Paddle just handed me a check today for $1,000 to donate towards this project. And they actually don't use the dock because they run a business, and they get one guy in the water and they hand their paddle boards in really fast, because they'll have like maybe 20 people going out in the paddle board. And but I sit down there and I look around, and I like to see what's going on. And just this afternoon I saw this guy paddle up. He was a rather heavy-set man, and he paddled right up to the floating dock, and he stepped right off and got his paddle board. And a couple people over the weekend came up to me and told me how nice that was, that they have seen how much use we're getting out of that particular dock. And I think it's really wonderful when different businesses in town and different individuals are kind enough to give us donations to help us make these things happen, such as the basketball court down on Taylor Avenue. It is beautiful. It looks really nice. We also have a volleyball court on between 2nd and 3rd Street, which is used all the time. And by next summer, we'd like to put a second one in so we can have tournaments. We had a pickleball tournament over the weekend, and I unfortunately, I was busy, but I heard it was very well attended and very exciting. That was my second thing. And so we have a lot of really cool things going on in town. We also have a bocce court, which most people don't know about. It's in disrepair, but Sherry and I have talked to the head of Public Works about perhaps doing something to make it more friendly, and people don't even know it's there. So lots of good things are happening in that respect, and I'd like to thank Ken from Ken's Surf and Paddle for his donation. The other thing that I consider very, very important, and I hope that this gets out to the public, and perhaps the Sandpaper can help us, we are having a referendum again this year to tax for Green Acres. The tax is very small. We only tax $1, 1% per 100. So you're paying a little bit of tax, but this money goes into a special fund that allows us to buy Green Acres if it becomes available. That would mean if there was ever a piece of property along the bay or the ocean that we could use for recreation, that we could save for the environment, we would have the money to be able to do that. In addition to that, this money can also be used to make improvements on the existing parks. We are really hoping that this referendum passes. We had it on the referendum last November, and we lost by a couple of votes. I think people really didn't understand the value of this. One of the things I can say is Barnegat Light has had this in their town for years. And when they were able to purchase the old Coast Guard station up there, the only reason they were able to do that was because they had about $700,000 squirreled away in this Green Acres fund. It can only be used for Green Acres. The other thing about it is if you decide you don't want this anymore, you don't want to tax for this, this isn't forever and ever. But the tax is very small. You might end up paying $100 extra a year in tax. And I know nobody likes to pay more tax than they have to, but it's for such a good cause. I mean, many of us go out for dinner, and we go out for dinner and we spend $100 on one meal with a couple people. Well, it depends on how many people and where you go. But you can go to Barry's or to the Shade and spend $100. This money is really going for a wonderful purpose. And I really urge the voters here, and if you're not a voter, to encourage the voters to vote for this. The township is also putting this on the referendum. So Long Beach Township is also going to have on their referendum taxing for Green Acres in the township. So I think it would be wonderful if the Sandpaper or any other news media could get out and really talk this up, so people understand that this is it's such a good investment of your money. It truly is. So that's basically what I have to say.
One comment on that, one point I want to make, it's actually to save taxpayers money. Because if we build a dog park and say it costs $50,000, the town puts $25,000 toward it, the Green Acres Fund puts a like amount of $25,000. So any improvements we make to the Green Acres funds is an equal dollar for dollar match. So just think about it that way. It's a tax, but if we're going to make any improvements at all to any of the park facilities, it cuts that cost in half. So think about it that way. It cuts your cost in half for any investments we make, and the parks do require investment. I mean, so think about it that way.
Well, right now, we are a Green Acres community. But because we don't tax for Green Acres, if we wanted to procure more money, we wouldn't get, they wouldn't give us very much. We have to tax for it. And as Don said, it is a 50-50 match of your funds. So it is a really good thing. So that's about it, except that keep enjoying the summer. It's been a beautiful summer. I think businesses are doing well, the Surf Lake's doing well, the show place is doing well. So we're excited to have that back. So please support our businesses in town. And take the survey, lbisurvey.com. We need your input on that survey, so we know what direction most of the people that come here, that live here, that visit here, would like to see Beach Haven go into, change into. All right? That's it. And now, with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.